How we doing, guys? Yusuf, it's all good. No one showed up. There's one person here. I think Cameron was here. I can't remember. Only one person showed up while I was in there. How we doing with the algebra stuff, guys? Do you need me to go over anything while I'm here? But I'll go over whatever you want. So that's this week. Stats are next week. And then your final. And since the school closed down, the final will just be on Sunday. I'll just make all my finals on Sunday because I don't think there really is a final schedule. I don't know. But I doubt anybody has finals on Sunday, so we'll just do Sunday. But I can go over anything you guys want me to go over or answer anything you want to know or need to know or whatever. Words, sentences. Nothing working coming out of my mouth today. What about the trig, Zach? Since we already did that, but I could go over it. Yeah, so if you have a triangle, it has to be a right triangle for what we did. So let's draw a right triangle out here. Alright. So there's our right triangle. Here's our right angle. Okay, and let's say we wanted to find this angle. Okay, and they gave us, it doesn't matter. Say they said this is 3 centimeters and this is 9 centimeters. Something like that. I'm just making up numbers. This isn't going to actually. So what you do is, based on what they gave you, it's called SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA. Where so is sine equals the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So here's the angle I want in question. Okay. They gave me the opposite. And the hypotenuse is always the side across from the right angle. So here's the hypotenuse. So they gave me an opposite and hypotenuse, so I'm going to use this. So if I were to write out like an equation, it would be sine of the angle. And capital theta is the, showing how to do an angle. Or is the abbreviation, I should say, or substitution for an angle. So opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 3, hypotenuse is 9. So I'd have the sine of the angle is equal to 1/3. Now to find the angle, I've got to do the inverse, or hit second on my calculator of sine, and 1/3. And that should give me the angle. So it all depends on where's the angle and what did they give you relevant to the angle. Makes sense? Okay, cool. So that's how that all plays out. What else, guys? We're almost there. You're almost done with math. Yes. And you never have to see me, not see me, but you never have to hear me again. Ever. Unless I come into your place of business. I am very impressed with the grades, I will tell you that. For those of you who show up and doing the work, you guys are doing awesome. And again, it's only going to be on 2 presentations, the final. It's not cumulative. And I'll wait to see what they do with a final schedule. But since we've been doing our exams on Sundays, I think it'll work out. And that way you can knock that one out and be out of the way before all your other finals. I know you're trying. I could see who's trying. It's almost over. Your semester of math hell. So what else can I do for you guys? All three of you that showed up today. Do they give you an angle? And what does the triangle look like? Is it a right triangle? So it all depends on the triangle and what else they give you. Do they give you a angle? Because that's the things you need to know. If there's an angle there, you could, as long as there's an angle, if it's a right triangle, you know one of the degrees is 90. If they give you two of the angles, so a triangle has 180 degrees. Well, you already know one of the angles. One of the angles is 90 degrees, but without knowing another side, because you either need two sides with the a squared b squared Pythagorean theorem equals c squared, or you need two sides. But if you have an example, you can email it to me and I can take a look at it. But you either need two sides or two angles. Because if it is a right triangle, you definitely know that one of the angles is 90. Oh, no, you could do it. Never mind. I'm overthinking it right now. So, I'm overthinking it. You could do this. So let's say you had a right triangle. Stepped on my microphone there. Alright, so let's say you had a right triangle. Okay. Like so. Here's your right angle. And let's say they just gave you... I don't care. It doesn't matter. Let's say they gave you this. 3 centimeters. I don't know why 3 centimeters stuck in my head today. But let's say they gave you that. Okay? I know that this is 90 degrees because it's a right triangle. Okay, so SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And what did they give me? I don't have the opposite. Okay, which is the hypotenuse. I could say I have an adjacent. I could call that one the adjacent. But let's make it even easier to not confuse you first. Let's say they gave me the hypotenuse. Okay? So opposite over hypotenuse, if I'm using this, I can't use sine. Because opposite over hypotenuse, they're the same thing. So I have to use cosine. So what I would do is say cosine of 90 degrees is equal to the adjacent. Let's say we call this one the adjacent. The adjacent over the hypotenuse. And I would just solve that equation. Make sense? Now the cosine of 90 is 0. Okay. So in our case here, the answer would be 0 for that side, which makes no sense. But that's how you would have to do it. Okay, so if they did it this way, how I originally started it, because that one doesn't mathematically work out, but if we did this, okay, you would do the same thing, except pick opposite over adjacent or something like that. That'd be the only way, but the problem with that is having that 90 degrees, the only one that this comes up error because it doesn't work, tangent. This, the cosine of 90 is 0. So the only one that would work is sine, but I don't have opposite or hypotenuse. Okay? So they'd have to give you at least another side or at least another angle in that triangle to do it. Because it just won't work out. But that's in general how you would do something like that. But it just doesn't work out. Is there anything else? All right. Well, if you do need me between now and Monday, let me know. You know where to find me. Discussion board, email. Keep up the hard work. You got 2 weeks left. Don't slack now. Finish strong. All right, guys. I'm here if you need me.